name is Roxana Wells, and I'm applying to work for Summer Institute with Teach for America. Today I'm going to do a small lesson that I would typically give to a group of English as a second language teachers or English as a foreign language teachers here in South Korea, where I currently work. I've been working here for the past 2 years. My previous teaching experience was 4 years in Title I schools, first with Teach for America in Phoenix, and then at a charter school in Utah afterwards. This is a lesson I would typically give to aspiring teachers that work here in South Korea on how to open a lesson, okay? And I think that this is pretty much a standard practice for Teach for America teachers, giving a lesson warm-up. This one is really specific for language goals, though, which is really common with most of our Title I schools here. So we're going to start with a picture response lesson warm-up, okay? So this is a way to get the class warmed up, to get them started before the lesson even starts, as you're taking attendance, as you're getting started, because our lesson classes here in South Korea are really quick, 50 minutes long, and the students are out of there, so we want to get them focused right away. For very, very young students, I would suggest doing something very simple as having the date written out, having them copy it into their notebook. So today is Monday. Every day they know they come in, they write down their date, whether it's simply the day, or you can also, as you go on, add the date. Okay. And the second thing I would do is also have a picture or an object. For example, it could be a picture from a storybook that you'll be reading. For example, I might show them this picture, and instead of having to write anything, if they're not at that level yet, they might be preschoolers all the way to 3rd grade, you might have them simply respond to this picture in words. Okay, so they could be talking to their partner. When we're ready to come together, they can start to tell me what's in the picture, even in their own language, in their first language, and then we can translate into the second. For example, a student might notice this is a girl. She's wearing a dress. The dress is red. Okay. It looks like she's putting the clothes on. Okay, so that might be a vocabulary word that they don't know yet, how to put the clothes on. And this might lead us into the day's lesson, which is either reading the book itself or talking about clothing. An alternative to using a picture is using an object. So I might bring in something like this. Although the students might not know the word for turtle, they might know green, small, cute, okay, pet. They might know a story about a turtle and might be able to relate that. Okay, so the picture response or object response would be a great one for really young kids, very beginners. Even adults, you can use famous pieces of artwork, a Van Gogh painting, even something local, and then students can respond to that, say what's going on. The next one would be sentence completion. This would be for a higher level class, probably an intermediate, middle schoolers. It can also be for adults too. You can just modify what you're using. So a simple sentence completion could really go with the lessons that you've been teaching all along, something that they've been practicing so that they can practice it as you start the class, or it can get them thinking about something that you'll be learning that day. For example, if we've been learning about foods, I might write this on the board as they come into class. They would sit down, write down the date, and get started with this sentence. They'd write down, "My favorite food is," and I would train them to know to fill in that blank, because, and then they would write a response. At which point, after they're finished, they could share with a friend, and then we would share with the class. An alternative to the sentence completion is the list. Okay, and this can get them thinking, get them brainstorming for a writing exercise, or it might get them thinking what they know, what they're going to learn in that class. So they might say, well, I know these fruits and vegetables, but maybe there are more that I don't know the names of, and we'll learn about those. For example, make a list of 7 fruits or vegetables. The number 7 there gives them a definite goal, a completion, okay? And also those high achievers can always go more than that if they like, and then they can share with each other to complete that list of 7 if time allows. Okay, then we go to our adult groups, or our much higher level classes. Okay, typically adults, college level students especially. This is especially usable in my adult classes for business students that are learning English. Idioms, okay? Foreign language learners need to use idioms in their everyday life. There are so many in the business world, and so I often teach idioms as a starter for a lesson. So I'll often have an idiom like this sitting on the board as they walk in. Think outside the box. Students would have to copy this down into their notebook. They might look up words that they're not sure about. Maybe they've never seen the word box before, or maybe they're not sure what outside means in this context. So they might look up a word with which they're unfamiliar. They'd copy down the phrase. I would also have the definition written there, and then they would try to start using it in their own sense. As soon as I entered the picture into the lesson, as soon as I took attendance, dealt with student issues at the beginning of class and we started, we would go over exactly what this meant, and we would definitely make a point of coming back to this phrase throughout the lesson. So there you have it. Basically the point is that we want to always have a lesson warm-up. You always want to have students get right into class and know that it's time to learn, okay? That's training those younger students to come in, immediately take out their pen and pencil and get started, know that the classroom is time to learn. They don't have to wait for the teacher for that to start to happen, okay? And for those adults, to get them thinking already, okay? We don't have to train the adults, but to get them, all right, it's time to learn, I'm in class, we're getting started with this, we don't have to wait for the teacher to start, okay? So the lesson warm-up is very important. Okay, we've got these 3 different types. You can always change these to your student needs and their different levels. I hope that was helpful for you, and thank you for listening.